Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
It's a comfortable start out here on the patio, but I'm tracking a front that's likely to bring some storms for part of the weekend. I'll show you when.
Call for change. Students in the Triangle will be part of a nationwide protest today. They push for gun safety regulations after last week's shooting in Minnesota. Growing gender gap. New data this morning showing more girls are struggling at math. How schools in our area are addressing the troubles with testing. So glad you're with us here in the 8 o'clock hour on Fox 50. I'm Ken Smith. We always appreciate your time here on Fox 50. Let's get back outside to the WRAL weather patio. Check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a little bit warmer today, but rather comfortable now, though.
I'll tell you, Ken, it feels comfortable with short sleeves on. A couple of days ago, I was on the cool side, even in a jacket. So big changes, but not too bad. Our humidity is still staying on the moderate side, not as low as it was, but it doesn't feel like summer necessarily, at least not yet. We take a live look at Apex, and we're looking at sunshine there down Salem Street. It looks beautiful. No people out there walking around. I'm kind of surprised because it feels good out here. 71's the temperature. The dew point is in the mid 60s. We would consider that kind of a moderate middle of the road dew point, but not that, super, oppressive air that we see sometimes in July and August. It's 59 in Roxborough, 72 in Southern Pines. So we do have a wide range in our temperatures. Generally, it feels more like 5 to 10 degrees warmer than it did this time yesterday. And our forecast high this afternoon is in the low 90s. So that'll be hot. We were at 89 yesterday. So again, just a little hotter than it was yesterday. For tomorrow, today stays nice and dry, but tomorrow we're going to see a cold front come through during the evening hours, not necessarily during the daytime, but we have the chance for some scattered storms. A few of those could become severe. I'll walk you through the timeline on Futurecast coming up. Grant?
Yeah, watching a new accident. This is near Durham, so I want to zoom in and show you that accident on the northwest side. Again, southeast side of Durham, northwest, of course, of Raleigh. You can see that accident off of 70, so it's still causing some delays in that general area. Also, north on 885, seeing some delays there as well, so I want to keep that in mind. On 70, you can see north and southbound, there are some delays there. This accident showing up as off Ellis Road, eastbound near South Miami Boulevard, but we're seeing some delays on 70 as well, so keep in mind you can have some backups in that general area, but not seeing any major delays right now on South Miami Boulevard. A 5-minute delay from NC 50 so far this morning, a 2-minute delay from Infinity Road this morning, and also in Raleigh, just some minor delays for most spots, but Wake Forest still seeing an 8-minute delay there, a 4-minute delay from Nightdale. Tune us in on the radio, 1015 HD3.
Grant, thanks. Local students are participating in a nationwide protest. They will be walking out of class to demand leaders take action after a deadly shooting at a Catholic school in Minnesota last week. WRAL's Ellie Cadlip are live at Morrisville this morning, and Ellie, students want new legislation.
Ken, they want new legislation and change. We're here at Wake Tech, where we're going to see Wake Early College and a School of Information and Biotechnologies. We're going to see students there walk out of the classroom around noon demanding for change. This comes a week after the school shooting in Minneapolis. 2 students were killed, 20 others injured at Annunciation Catholic Church. Today, students at 7 schools in Wake County, 11 across the state, will be protesting gun violence. They are demanding a nationwide assault rifle ban. We spoke with a student organizer with NC State. She says that this is unacceptable and they want to see change.
Someone has to say something. I think that's the consensus that a lot of student organizers came to, is we're really going to accept this in the first few days. And how can we say something, because clearly the adults aren't.
Now that the walkout begins at noon today, we know that there's a fire drill happening now. That's why we see some activity behind me. But that protest, that walkout, is at noon today for those schools that we mentioned. Reporting live in Morrisville, Ali Cadlabar, WRAL News.
A person is in the hospital this morning after being hit by a car overnight. The WRAL breaking news tracker drove to the scene on Belmont Drive in Raleigh. Police say the pedestrian was taken to a local hospital, but we don't know how badly that person was hurt. The driver of the car was charged with DWI. The State Highway Patrol identifying the person killed in an I-40 crash in Johnston County. Sky 5 flew over the massive scene yesterday afternoon. All 4 lanes were shut down near exit 312, that's near Highway 36, that was shut down for more than an hour at one point. Troopers say Cheryl Bazzi was driving east when she was hit from behind by Scott Faircloth. Then another car, Mario Baviano, was driving, hit Basil's car as well. Faircloth and Baviano were both charged with failing to slow down. Faircloth is also being charged with misdemeanor death by motor vehicle. Happening today, the August jobs report will be released. It will give us an idea of how the economy is really doing. WRAL's Monica Casey live in Raleigh this morning. And Monica, you spoke with an economist about what's keeping his eye on this morning.
That's right, Ken. This report will give us the number of jobs created in the month of August and the most recent unemployment data. Economists tell me that markets and businesses can be very reactive to these numbers. Now, right now, the expectation is that this report will show 75,000 jobs created in the month of August, and the unemployment rate is expected to tick up from 4.2 to 4.3%. I spoke with Gerald Cohen, the chief economist at UNC's Keenan Institute. He says his worries about the economy right now stem from the impact of policy.
All of this uncertainty, the costs, you're seeing the pass through of tariffs on everything from, grocery prices to car prices.
Cohen says the question is whether that job creation number represents a soft landing or the first step of a step down. He also says these numbers help the Fed to do its job and help businesses make better decisions. Now, this report comes out in less than half an hour at this point. It is the first report that we're getting since President Trump fired the Bureau of Labor Statistics chief related to previous numbers. Live in Raleigh, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
New this morning, data shows girls' math scores have taken a much bigger hit since the pandemic than boys. The new report, based on data compiled by Stanford University, shows girls caught up with boys. They largely closed the gender gap in the years leading up to the pandemic. But girls' math scores dropped more than boys in nearly every North Carolina school district. WRAL spoke with the principal at Millbrook Magnet High School about why this might be the case.
I think it's partially the way that the two genders approached things while we were out of school.
Many schools in North Carolina and across the nation are making changes to engage students more. You can find out more about this story by going to WRAL.com. A West Virginia man accused of posing as a Duke Energy worker and scamming North Carolina seniors out of tens of thousands of dollars. Brian Talton facing a judge in handcuffs yesterday. Talton is accused of exploiting Wake County seniors out of more than $70,000. WRAL has learned Talton's reportedly done this in other states as well. He remains in custody and will be back in court later this month. Another UNC system school announcing budget cuts, this time East Carolina University. The chancellor announcing plans that $25 million will be cut from the budget over the next 3 years. That could mean cuts to staffing and academic programs. ECU's chancellor said, though, the school has earmarked more than $4 million in savings this year alone. UNC also planning to cut $70 million from its budget, and hundreds of Duke University employees are taking buyouts. Duke started layoffs for others last month.
Breaking news update here in the WRAL Live Center. We're seeing that the UK's deputy leader there quit because of a property tax scandal. This right here is that person, Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner. She essentially admitted to underpaying her taxes by about the equivalent of $54,000 there. And this basically is not really a good thing in terms of Prime Minister Keir Starmer's legislation over there. His economy has been barely growing, according to experts, and he's kind of lost some popularity since he had that landslide victory. But essentially her stepping down, what does that mean for the markets? I've been trying to look at what they appear to be over on CNBC, just goofed out there. But it looks like for right now, the markets are unchanged. Will that change later in the day? We'll be watching for that here on WRAL News.
All right, let's talk about day 2 of the Hopscotch Music Festival getting underway in downtown Raleigh today. The party was on day 1 yesterday. People were out listening to live music and even checking out the pop-up skate park. WRAL spoke with one of the event organizers. He says the diversity of music is one of his favorite parts of this festival.
It has something for everybody, and what makes that great is you can jump from place to place. So that's kind of the idea of the festival, right? You're not buying a ticket to one show, you're buying a ticket to a 3-day adventure.
Now, if you're still looking for tickets for the final 2 days, you can find that information on WRAL.com. The NFL season off and running. The Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles celebrating their championship before facing the Dallas Cowboys last night. Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts picked up where he left off at the Super Bowl with 2 running touchdowns as the Eagles got the win over the Dallas Cowboys 24-20. But listen, the big story out of that game, Eagles star Jalen Carter was ejected for spitting at Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. This happened right before the opening kickoff. Now, a replay shows Prescott actually spit first. Well, there you see, is the one who reacts always gets caught. After the game, Carter apologized for what he did, calling it a mistake, saying it would never happen again. Well, the NFL action keeps going tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Chargers squaring off in Brazil. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. our time. You can stream it live on YouTube. Well, we can't forget about the Carolina Panthers kicking off their season Sunday right here on Fox 50. They'll be in Jacksonville playing the Jaguars, the Jaguars as we call them. Kickoff for that game is set for 1 p.m. After that, turn over to WRAL. The Baltimore Ravens will play the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. That kickoff is set for 8:20. Our coverage begins with Football Night in America at 7. All right, limited access. New information about restrictions on NFL scouts at UNC. The limits Bill Belichick is putting on his former pro team visiting Chapel Hill. Also coming up.
Evading the question. No, I'm asking the questions here.
You're evading that question.
Drama on Capitol Hill, contentious moments between lawmakers and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the pushback he is getting about some of his decisions.
And we take a look at what's coming our way. A hot afternoon. We'll see a couple of those before some big changes with a front and a chance of storms. We'll go over all of that coming up. 8:14 and temperatures are mild out here this morning. You see lots of sunshine. A few clouds passing by, but for the most part, we'll see partly cloudy skies today. It is 69 in Wilson, 71 in Durham, and 68 in Fayetteville. So pretty start out here. The humidity is a little bit higher than it was yesterday, but we're not looking at anything that's extreme. Our humidity or dew point right now is in the low 60s, and when it feels the most oppressive, it's actually up there in the 70s. So we take a look at, tropical is up at 70. Right now we're in the tolerable zone. Not even steamy. So, we can take that. Tomorrow might feel a little bit more steamy as a cold front gets closer to us. It is going to be a hot afternoon. Don't get me wrong. Highs will be in the low 90s, and that's going to be about 5 degrees above normal for this time of year. Today and tonight stay dry, but I'll walk you through our chance of evening storms for tomorrow coming up.
I'm watching a new accident. This is off of Glenwood Avenue. This is at Ebenezer Church Road. Not seeing major delays there on Glenwood Avenue, but might see some minor delays at least heading westbound. That's where this crash is being reported. All's looking good so far, though, this morning. Not seeing any major delays on Glenwood. And also over towards Creedmoor Road and Lynn Road. There's a report of a broken down vehicle, so might see at least some minor delays in that general area. So far, looking pretty good on I-440 at Newbern Avenue. Tune us in the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Hey, Grant, thanks. Well, UNC Charlotte capitalizing on the buzz around Bill Belichick ahead of the 49ers matchup against the Tar Heels tomorrow. Charlotte will host UNC for the game. Now, the 49ers sold out of their season tickets for the first time in school history. Of course, that's because of UNC's presence on the home schedule. Charlotte added temporary bleacher seats for tomorrow's game.
We take the approach we can, play anywhere, anytime, day, night, home, away, in a parking lot, in Ireland, in North Carolina, in California, wherever it is. Just, we got to be ready to play when the games are scheduled.
On to the 49ers. It will be the first road game for Belichick as the Tar Heels head coach. Well, one more note about Chapel Hill and Belichick. Apparently, he's limiting the access of New England Patriots scouts. Belichick coached the Patriots for 6 Super Bowl wins. Since he left after the 2023 season, there have been somewhat of bad blood between him and his former team. A source telling WRAL UNC's limiting access for Patriot scouts, but they can still have calls with the program's personnel, staff, and have access to film. Well, tomorrow, NC State hosts an ACC foe at Carter Finley Stadium. The Virginia Cavaliers coming to Raleigh for a conference showdown. Kickoff for that game is set for noon. Progress through partnerships. That's the newest strategy being used by the DMV to improve the experience for customers. The North Carolina DMV Commissioner Paul Tyne sat on a panel with officials from Virginia and South Carolina yesterday. The goal was for our neighbors to share ideas that have worked for them. Tyne says the department has made efficiency changes, allowing them to process more than 1 million more transactions per year while gathering more data to help with the day-to-day operations.
And that's when our wait time starts. And we're finding that it's about 2 hours and 45 minutes over the whole state average, which is, not anywhere near where we need to be. Our vision is to be like a bank. You show up, you might have a 15-minute wait, you have a 15-minute transaction, maybe 10-minute transaction, you're on your way.
The state passed a mini budget providing funding for more DMV employees. Tyne says Governor Stein urged him to get 40 new people hired within a month. Tyne said we should expect an announcement about that very soon. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy facing tough questions for health care policies in the Senate hearing. Kennedy said recent shakeups at the CDC, including the ouster of its director, were absolutely necessary, his words. Kennedy also slammed the CDC response to COVID-19. Democratic Senator Michael Bennet got into a heated confrontation with Kennedy over the decision to remove all current members of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee.
I'm asking the questions,
I
Mr.
asked you a
Kennedy.
question.
I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership.
Well, Kennedy maintains that the job cuts and changes were needed to restore the agency to its role as the world's gold standard public health policy agency. All right, live music, art, and thrifting are on the agenda for this weekend. It's time to take a look at WRAL Out and About's Best Bets. Let's start in downtown Raleigh with a place to be for live music, art, and markets. Tonight's the September 1st, Friday. The event is hosted by the Downtown Raleigh Alliance. Details and a map for all of the vendors available tonight are on their website. Just check it out. It starts at 6 p.m. If you like thrifting, this may be a good weekend for you. The North Carolina Vintage Bazaar gets underway tomorrow. More than 200 vendors will be selling all kinds of old clothing and accessories. That event runs through Sunday at the Expo Center at the State Fairgrounds. Tickets are still available online. And pop star Benson Boone taking on the Lenovo Center this weekend. He will be performing this Sunday in Raleigh as part of his American Heart Tour. That concert starts at 8 p.m. For more weekend fun, just visit WRAL.com, search Out and About. And speaking of getting out and about, let's go outside and check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on the WRAL weather patio. Summer and fall, this tug-of-war continues.
It does. So, Ken, 2 days ago, I was very happy in a fairly thick jacket out here, and now comfortable in short sleeves. You know what that means for the afternoon, though. It is going to be hot. Highs will climb into the low 90s. It's beautiful in the gardens behind me right now. It feels very comfortable out here. Our dew point is higher than it was yesterday. That's the measure of moisture or the measure of some humidity, but it's still not bad. It's still not really feeling, like the way we feel in the summertime. We have a cold front that's back to our west. It'll come sliding in here tomorrow, but not until fairly late. So it should be that most of us get through the daylight hours tomorrow without having to worry about rain. It's not going to be a washout, but during the evening, we'll have some isolated showers and storms, and some of those could be severe. Behind this front, we'll have some cooler temperatures for Sunday. So we do have a front that's moving in. It's fizzled out. We have a second one that's going to come in behind that, and that's the one that arrives here for tomorrow. So here's Futurecast. We're just going to kick it off tomorrow since today will be dry. We'll push it on ahead to 2 or 3 in the afternoon. The clouds will thicken up, and we couldn't rule out maybe a tiny sprinkle in the afternoon tomorrow, but you can see that line of storms that develops at around 6 o'clock to the west of our viewing area, and then it begins to move in. So we'll pause it right here at 8 o'clock, and you can see where those showers and thunderstorms are starting to move in. So if you're headed to Hopscotch tomorrow evening, download our WRAL weather app and follow along on the radar. You can see if any of those storms are going to be headed your way, and then it all fizzles out right around midnight or 1 o'clock. So it's not going to be with us into the day on Sunday, and except for in our southeastern counties. And the farther south and east you are, the better chance that you'll end up with some of those scattered storms. It's also going to cool down on Sunday. So we're 92 today, 93 on Saturday, and then back into the upper 70s on Sunday. And after that, just some lovely weather into next week.
All right, tracking a couple of accidents on the north side of town, but they aren't causing any major delays. Also one near Durham as well. Again, no major concerns with those accidents, just seeing some minor delays, if anything. This is I-40 at Page Road, also looking great so far on I-40 this morning. Of course, we had that accident on I-40 eastbound, just south of US 1. That cleared a couple of hours ago. Not seeing any major delays there either. So looking good so far this morning. Looking at those drive times in Raleigh and Durham, things have looked great so far. But there was more of a delay near Nightdale, but now it's looking a lot better. Only a 1-minute delay headed towards Raleigh. Wake Forest, a 6-minute delay headed towards Raleigh this morning, so no major concerns there. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, Greg, thanks. Controlling your data. 5 on your side explaining the steps you can take to reduce the chances you're the victim of a data breach. And votes will count. A new settlement allows the federal ballots of voters with missing registration data. The next steps for state and local races.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning at 8:26. I'm Ken Smith. I know you're wondering about the forecast, so let's not keep you waiting. Let's get out to the WRAL weather pattern. We'll check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a check on how things are shaping up.
You know, Ken, it's pretty comfortable out here right now. It was pretty chilly the last several mornings, so, a jacket felt good, but the short sleeves are just fine. We take a live look at the gardens behind me, and it's comfortable. Our dew point or our humidity a little bit higher today than yesterday, but it doesn't feel like the middle of July. It is going to be hot, though, low 90s, so if you're looking to get out and do some exercise, I would get out as quick as you can. By lunchtime, we'll be in the mid-80s, and we don't really drop down to more comfortable temperatures until around sunset.
And a new accident. This is on the northeast side of town off 401 and Perry Creek Road, seeing some congestion heading southbound on 401 this morning. So again, an accident there could be causing some delays. Looks like there's an area in red here all the way back to the north and east. So we'll keep in mind heading southbound on 401 might have some delays there on the northeast side of town this morning. Otherwise, no major delays so far. 4-minute delay on NC 50 and a 3-minute delay from Infinity Road. Tune us into the radio, 101.5 HD3.
A person's in the hospital after being hit by a car in southeast Raleigh. This is video from the WRAL breaking news track around 10:30 last night on Belmont Drive. Police tell us the driver was arrested and charged with DWI. Today, students at 7 schools in Wake County, 11 all across our state, and even more nationwide will be protesting gun violence. They'll be walking out of the classroom around noon. This comes a little more than a week after that deadly shooting at a school in Minnesota. Next on Fox 50, Zebulon leaders warn about a town planning scam. And up next on Today, Orlando Bloom stopping by Studio 1A to talk about the cut.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
And we're taking a look at a beautiful start this morning. You can see here at the airport a mix of sun and clouds. Definitely warmer than it was yesterday. We do have dry conditions today, but a chance of storms tomorrow. I'll show you the timeline.
Happening today, a gun violence walkout. Local students joining a nationwide push for increased firearm safety regulations. Their call for change after the Minnesota school shooting last week. Also, all eyes on the latest jobs report. Any minute now, we'll get new data about hiring and unemployment, what to expect from this important gauge of the economy's health. And Spitgate, it's the spit seen around the world. The new response this morning from the star NFL player ejected from the season opener even before the first snap of that Eagles-Cowboys game. It's quite a scene there. Thanks for staying with us here at 8:30. I'm Ken Smith. Let's go ahead and get back out to the WRAL weather patio, check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with how our day is going to shape up. Elizabeth.
So it is going to be a little warmer and a little muggier than it was yesterday. Temperatures this morning are noticeably warmer. This afternoon will be just a few degrees warmer than yesterday. We hit 89 yesterday. We'll be in the low 90s. We have a cold front that's going to come sweeping through and bring us a chance for thunderstorms for tomorrow. But all day today is going to stay nice and quiet. We take this pretty look look at RDU, and you can see partly cloudy skies. It is 71, and the dew point is 64. That's kind of a middle of the road dew point. It's not as comfortable as it was a few days ago, but it also doesn't feel like that really oppressive, sticky feel that we see a lot of times in July. It's 63 in Roxborough, but 72 in Southern Pines, 69 in Rocky Mount, 70 in Goldsboro. Temperatures are anywhere from a couple degrees to 7 or 8 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. Hour by hour, we'll climb it up into the low 90s this afternoon. And then if you're out and about this evening, we get back into the mid 80s around 7 o'clock or so. For tomorrow in the evening, we have the potential for some storms. It could be strong to severe from the Triangle area northward. I'll walk you through what to expect for Saturday and the chance of rain again on Sunday coming up.
And a quick heads up, I saw a new accident. This is going to be New Bern Avenue, close to downtown. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to give you another update and let you know where that is exactly and if we're seeing any delays in that general area. It just came in, though, so I'll give you some of that new data coming up in just a couple of minutes. 6-minute delay from Wake Forest so far this morning. See a couple of accidents in that area, but again, no major concerns on that area. A 1-minute delay from Nightdale, also up towards Durham, seeing some minor delays as well. Usually around a 5-minute delay for most spots, but just tracking some of those spots in that general area. I-40 westbound, west and eastbound, we're seeing some minor delays just a few minutes ago. This is close to that area where we had that accident, but now not seeing any major concerns. Just in the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Hey, Grant, thanks. Well, happening today, students here in North Carolina and all across the country will walk out of class for a call to end gun violence. WRAL's Ali Katlabar live in Morrisville this morning. And Ali, this comes about a week since that deadly shooting at a Catholic school in Minnesota.
Ken, and it's only been the second week of school for most students in the Triangle, and they are already demanding change. We're here at Wake Tech, where we're going to see Wake Early College of Information and Biotechnology students walk out of the classroom and demand change. Now, the school shooting in Minneapolis was just last week. 2 students were killed, 20 others injured at Annunciation Catholic Church. Today, students at 7 schools in Wake County, 11 across the state, will be protesting gun violence. They are demanding a nationwide assault rifle ban. We spoke with a student organizer. He says this is an effort to remember that tragedy and the need for change.
A lot of students and I were very passionate about ensuring that their lives are remembered and ensuring that we can not just become numb to incidents like this, given that they happen so frequently.
And they're hoping to put an end to school shootings. They are sending letters to state and local lawmakers and signing petitions as well. That walkout and protest is set for noon today. Reporting live in Morrisville, Ali Katlabar, WRAL News.
Well, the trial of accused Raleigh mass shooter Austin Thompson is going to go on as scheduled in February. Thompson faces 5 murder charges for the 2022 shootings in the Hedingham community. He did not appear in court yesterday for his status hearing, but his attorneys did. They said they're still waiting on mental health reports before determining how to defend him. Prosecutors have yet to hire their own mental health experts because they're waiting on the same information as well. A person is dead and 2 others are facing charges after a crash on I-40 East in Johnston County. Sky 5 flying over that massive scene Thursday evening. This happened near exit 312 near Highway 36. It shut down that road for more than an hour during rush hour. State troopers say Cheryl Barzil car was hit from behind by a pickup truck. She then swerved off the road where she was hit again from behind by a Jeep. Barzil died in that crash. The other 2 drivers are facing charges for failing to slow down. The driver of the Jeep faces another for driving without a license. The pickup truck driver was charged with misdemeanor death by motor vehicle. A person is in the hospital after being hit by a car in southeast Raleigh. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker around 10:30 last night on Belmont Drive. Police telling us the driver was arrested and charged with DWI. We're still working to find out the name of the driver and the condition of the person who was hit. Tens of thousands of North Carolina voters with missing voter registration data will have their federal votes counted. The Republican-led state elections board previously approved a plan requiring those voters to use provisional ballots. Some voter advocates were concerned the ballots would be thrown out. A proposed settlement filed this week clarifies that, and the federal votes on those ballots will be counted. The state elections board is expected to fine-tune guidance Monday for state and local races. Today, a major announcement is expected about federal disaster assistance for North Carolina, for Western North North Carolina. USDA Secretary Stephen Vaden will join State Agriculture Commissioner Steve Troxler to introduce that assistance for people hardest hit by Helene. Today's announcement will kick off the Mountain State Fair of the Western North Carolina Ag Center in Fletcher. That's near Asheville. The Ag Center housed people after Helene and was a hub for relief efforts. We're bringing you stories of heartbreak and hope in the mountains 1 year after that hurricane. It's all part of a new WRAL documentary, Helene, What We Lost, What We Found. It airs Thursday, September 25th at 7:30 on WRAL. That's in the evening. Wherever you stream WRAL, you can get it.
Time is 8:37 here in the WRAL Live Center. The highly anticipated jobs report for August just released within the past 5 minutes or so, and we're seeing how markets are reacting, where we see some slight improvements there, more so the NASDAQ with 172. So here's what we're looking at here. Payrolls rose 22,000 in August, but that's actually less than expected. We're talking about at least 74,000 that were expected, so quite the drop there. Non-farm payrolls were expected again to increase by 75,000 in August, while the unemployment rate increased to 4.3%. That's according to the Dow Jones Consensus Estimate. Now, as I've been showing you how the market is reacting, we're starting to see things kind of pitter-patter back and forth as people are still in the process of overnight trading, because at 9:30, that's when the opening bell happens, and we'll see how it looks coming up here on WRAL News and Fox 50.
A new lawsuit calls the deployment of National Guard troops in the nation's capital illegal. The suit was filed by D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwab. It comes days after a federal judge ruled President Trump's deployment of troops in Los Angeles was illegal. D.C.'s mayor was asked about the possibility the troops could stay in Washington through December.
I know that there's a lot of reporting about how weary they are, and I get that because deployments are hard. People are away from their families, and they may not necessarily think they're on mission. So I think that the deployments themselves are running their course.
There are more than 2,000 National Guard troops in D.C., many of them armed and driving heavy military equipment. The NFL season off and running. The Super Bowl champions Philadelphia Eagles celebrating their championship before facing off against the Dallas Cowboys last night. The Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts picking up where he left off at the Super Bowl with 2 rushing touchdowns. The Eagles taking that game 24-20. But I'll tell you the big story out of that game. Eagles star Jalen Carter ejected for spitting at Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. This happened right after the opening kickoff. A replay shows Prescott spat on the ground first. After the game, Carter apologized for what he did, calling it a mistake and saying it would never happen again. The NFL season keeping it going tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs and Los Angeles Chargers squaring off in Brazil. That kickoff is at 8 p.m. our time. You can stream it live on YouTube. Of course, we can't forget about the Carolina Panthers kicking off their season this Sunday right here on Fox 50. They'll be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kickoff for that game is set for 1 p.m. Now, after that game, turn it over to WRAL. The Baltimore Ravens will play the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. Kickoff for that game is set for 8:20. Our coverage begins with Football Night in America. That starts at 7. Well, this morning, an emotional return for Chanel Jones to the Today Show. Jones sat down with Savannah Guthrie as she returned to Studio 1A for the first time since January. She left to be with her husband, who was battling brain cancer. He died in May. In her interview, she described what she called her beautiful nightmare.
To watch a 45-year-old do 2 triathlons and live and breathe off of soccer and his kids, to take a guy like that and, watch him have to deal with this fight was a nightmare. But the way he fought it, and the way we rallied together, and the way we saw the best of humanity, that was beautiful.
Well, Jones will return to her role as a co-anchor on today's 3rd hour on Monday. We all wish her well. Well, still ahead, personal data removal. Think about how much information you enter about yourself online. You could be putting yourself at risk. 5 on your side's Keeley Arthur sharing how to protect yourself from a data breach. Also laying blame, a utility accused of sparking massive wildfires in California. The equipment failures investigators are pointing out that may have led to that disaster. We're going to give you a live look now. We take a break at downtown Cary Park. Boy, it's dry and a little bit warmer today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner explains when those fall-like temperatures will return and what we're watching for in the tropics.
844. We're going to take a look at the tropics right now. We continue to watch a wave of low pressure that's coming off the coast of Africa. The chances of it developing just continue to go up. 60% chance in the next 2 days, and then a 90% chance sometime in the next week. This one's a little farther south than the last wave that came off of Africa, and so that, gives us maybe a little bit more of a reprieve here in the United States. But this one, of course, these are look at our model plots here. These models are hurricane specific, so they're designed to track and follow hurricanes. Right now, it looks like it would be potentially farther south, down closer to South America, or down towards the Caribbean, especially, say, the Leeward Islands. So right now it's tracking south. It's too far away to really have any idea about where it may head, but we can definitely tell that it's moving into a favorable environment. We get to name the next name on the list is Gabrielle.
I'm tracking a new crash. This is off of New Bern Avenue near Tarboro Street. This is right by that Bojangles. Looks like there's an accident in that area. It's been reported as a serious crash. So we're going to continue to watch for updates from this and bring you those throughout the course of this morning. But again, watching that closely. Also a new crash off South New Hope Road. This is going to be northbound at Pool Road. Not seeing any delays in either direction, but again, keeping a close eye on that area as we do have a new crash there. Also a broken down vehicle reported off New Bern Avenue. This is going to be eastbound near I-440 eastbound. So keep that in mind. Might have some minor delays off of New Bern Avenue in that location as well. And to the north and east, there's a crash reported off Lewisburg Road near Perry Creek Road. Tune us into the radio, 1015 HD3.
Grant, thanks. Well, getting companies and data brokers to delete your personal information can lower the chances of you being part of a data breach. 5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur shows you how.
Think about how often you enter your data on your computer, whether it's for shopping, to pay a bill, sign up for a free trial, or really anything else. They're called first-party relationships, and a lot of those companies keep data on you. Data brokers also collect information about you and then sell it for things like advertising. That's illegal, and the more places your information is stored, the higher the chances it gets compromised in a data breach.
The average person is in far more databases than they realize. And in order to go try to track down all those databases, could be hundreds, if not thousands, would be prohibitively time consuming.
You can ask data brokers and individual companies you no longer have a relationship with to stop sharing or remove your data. There are also paid services that will do it for you. On our website, WRAL.com, we have a breakdown of how you can make those requests and a list of the highest rated companies. Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
I want to share with you now some sad news coming from the royal family. Catherine, the Duchess of Kent, has died. Buckingham Palace making the announcement within the last couple of hours. The Duchess was married to Prince Edward. She became the oldest member of the royal family when her cousin, Queen Elizabeth II, died 3 years ago. The Duchess was a familiar figure at Wimbledon. I remember her well, where she handed out trophies to the winners. Catherine, the Duchess of Kent, was 92 years old. Well, today, President Trump plans to sign an executive order rebranding the Department of Defense the Department of War. The order won't actually rename the department, though. The Department of War will be a secondary title, according to 2 White House officials. This will allow Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to use secondary titles like Secretary of War. The president is expected to require all departments and agencies to recognize and use the secondary title. The Department of Justice is accusing the utility company from causing wildfires in California. The government says SoCal Edison is responsible for starting both this year's Eaton Fire and the 2022 Fairview Fire. New video shows flames at the base of the electrical tower in the early minutes of the Eaton Fire. The government is asking for $77 million in damages.
Southern California Edison negligently failed to properly maintain its power and transmission lines, negligence that had deadly and very costly consequences.
SoCal Edison says it will review the lawsuit and respond through the appropriate legal channels. Well, whether you love it or you really don't have a taste for it, pumpkin spice is a big hit during the fall. Pumpkin has carved out its place as a seasonal comfort for many. The flavor also gives companies a chance to catch shoppers' attention with new seasonal packaging. Thomas McMillan is the director of the Center for Retailing Innovation at Texas A&M University. He says pumpkin spice is tried and true.
For other brands, pumpkin spice is a smart play. It allows them to do something fresh and innovative without spending millions on research and development.
And a little pumpkin spice never hurts. McMillan says people are willing to pay a little bit more for pumpkin spice because they know it's only going to be here for a short period of time. Jason Momoa joining the cast of the upcoming Street Fighter movie, also a new film out of New Zealand, is David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
You have to have fun with it.
Jason Momoa is getting his Street Fighter on. He'll play Blanca in a live-action adaptation of the classic video game franchise. The cast also includes Curtis 50 Cent Jackson as Balrog and David Dastmalchian as M. Bison. Street Fighter, the first film in a deal between Legendary Pictures and video game company Capcom, is due in IMAX and other theaters October 16, 2026.
You want to rub your hands together like this? You can tell me what choir's about. Singing? Yeah. Patia! Patia! Josefa! Okay, that's a work in progress.
A grieving mother draws on her Samoan roots, teaching elite, mostly white New Zealand private school students in Tina. She and her choir defy expectations, make connections, and discover what's possible when they encourage and celebrate each other. Tina is in theaters today. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
I think there's some Oscar buzz for that one. All right, let's head back out to the WRAL weather patio, check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. And boy, you got a great gig this morning, but things are going to warm up, though.
You know, I've had a great gig all week. It's been wonderful. We started the week in a nice, crisp and cool with my jacket on, and you know, now the short sleeves feel comfortable. We're dealing with some summer heat for the next couple of afternoons. Highs in the low 90s today and Saturday, and then a cold front comes through. That's going to bring us a chance for some late day storms on Saturday. It may be, you know, closer to sunset before we actually see those storms, and that will linger into the evening. A few of those could be severe. We have a level 1 risk for part of the viewing area. Behind that, the cold front will stall just to our south and east and bring us a better chance for rain on Sunday in our eastern counties, and then cooler air coming up behind it. Take a live look at RDU, and you can see a lot of blue sky, just a few clouds out there, 71 the temperature, and the dew point 64. So it's still pretty comfortable right now. Temperatures range from the mid 60s to low 70s, and we'll continue to see a warm up, obviously, as we get closer to lunchtime. We're going to be in the 80s by then. It's 69 in Apex, 71 in Garner and in Wake Forest, and around town, hitting 92 in Raleigh and 91 in Durham. We were at 89 yesterday, so it was already hot, and we'll just build on that today. A high of 95 in Fayetteville. 86 is our normal high, so low 90s today and tomorrow. We'll be above that, and then a big drop potentially on Sunday. That, of course, depends on how fast that front moves through. If it moves on by, we'll get into the 70s. If it's slower moving and it stalls a little bit, and maybe a little warmer, we should see a nice big drop in our dew point by Monday. So it'll feel much more comfortable, almost refreshing on Monday. But today and tomorrow, even Sunday, still feeling a bit on the muggy side, a little sticky, especially for tomorrow. We have another front that's going to swing on through here, and that one's going to bring us, of course, a chance of some evening storms. If you're headed to any of the big college games, looking at mid 80s at lunchtime, and most likely for Duke and Duke and State, I should say, we will not end up with thunderstorms, but UNC plays at Charlotte, and that's an evening game. There'll be a better chance for storms during the evening and overnight Saturday. A few showers in our eastern counties on Sunday.
Thanks. Well, before we go to break, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check of weather and traffic after the break.